According to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, a rival is defined as one or two or more striving to reach or obtain something that only one can possess. Rivalries in sports and entertainment are nothing new. Two opposing forces wanting to be the best in their field and letting it be known. Kevin Hart and Katt Williams have not only dominated comedy, but they may in fact be behind the biggest rivalry in comedy history. In fact, this nearly 8-year feud could quite possibly see no definite ending for a number of reasons. But how did it even start? We have to go back to 2008. Katt Williams had just released his then new special entitled It's Pimpin' Pimpin'. This would take 6 years after audiences would first discover Williams in Friday After Next. At this time, Williams was quite possibly regarded as one of the hottest comedians in the world. Now, 2008 would become a noteworthy year for this feud, kind of a transition of power. You see, it is well documented that Hollywood has a history with pushing a single black stand-up comedian at a time. This method from a business lens is why we've seen one or two comedians land certain roles back to back. A star is made, created, carefully and cold-bloodedly built from nothing, from nobody. Louis B. Mayer, co-founder of MGM. Under this ongoing practice, we see how a rivalry can easily start to exist amongst black comedians. The seldom message is there. There only can be one king. According to Hart's book, I Can't Make This Up, he was never intended for his role in 2008's Fool's Gold. In fact, Katt Williams had landed the role, which was filming in Australia, but he ended up getting into some legal trouble and wasn't allowed to leave the country. The casting agents called my manager and said they needed a comedian as soon as possible to play a villain in the film named Big Bunny. And that's how Kevin originally landed the role. This casting change would mark as the first time people would publicly hear about a 5'5" Katt Williams and a 5'4" Kevin Hart being matched up against each other. Now, before Fool's Gold, Hart was quietly building and working behind the scenes. In 2003, the Philadelphia comedian would land Scary Movie 3, and in 2004, he would feature in Along Came Polly, landed a sitcom, which was quickly canceled, but would gain a starring role in his own film as Nishan in Soul Plane. Fast forward back to 2008, Hollywood appears to have decided it was time to utilize Hart even more. After Fool's Gold, Hart would then share the screen with Eddie Murphy for Meet Dave that same year. And again, according to Hart in an interview with The Breakfast Club in 2012, Katt was supposed to be in that instead of him. I don't even think they said what the offer was. I was like, yup. The next year, he would then get pushed to release his first 1-hour special, I'm a Grown Little Man. Meanwhile, 2009 appears to be Katt's decline in Hollywood. Despite releasing another notable special, Pimpadelic, Katt's relationship with Hollywood was slowed down. According to IMDb, Katt will only appear in one movie for the entire year, Young American Gangsters. His crown was now in jeopardy of being lost. In 2010, Hart would align with an all-star cast for Death at a Funeral. The film would feature Chris Rock, Tracy Morgan, and Martin Lawrence. Now, upon looking at this, one could see Katt Williams fitting into the equation of this movie's comedy lineup. Hart would also land 3 other movies, which included Little Fockers. And that same year, Kevin would return with another comedy special, Seriously Funny. Meanwhile, Katt would release his special 9 Lives, but would only bring in 1 film credit for the entire year. For the next 2 years, Williams' roles in Hollywood would be close to non-existent. It was in 2013 that audiences would see Williams back in another notable role for Scary Movie 5. While doing press for the film, Williams would for the first time publicly acknowledge a rival between him and Hart. I don't have a problem with Kevin Hart. I never have, simply because I'm a fan of comedy and judge a person by what they bring comedically. If I am the king, then my crown is not supposed to be able to be worn by anybody else. So now, that doesn't mean that they're not going to try and put it on somebody else's head and walk him around and tell you that he is the king. But the crown won't match, and the crown is going to be too heavy for that baby boy. So now all I say is, I want my crown back. The comedy Lord giveth, and he taketh away. The following year, in 2014, a clip of Katt appeared on Vlad TV, where he explained how he was able to pave the way for the Kevin Harts of the world. I told Kevin Hart's people how to make Kevin Hart because I don't mind competition. I'm really the greatest of all time, so I can build you to fight me. The rivalry was officially known, not from just Katt's words, but what both comedians bring to the stage. Katt's style of comedy speaks to a certain audience outside of the mainstream, those who care for truth. His topics mainly include politics, conspiracies, and a view of the hood today. On the other end, Kevin represents a more conservative perspective, one based on being the perfect example of a family man, stays away from politics, and other controversial topics, which Katt, on the opposite, has learned to embrace. This rivalry is the ultimate good guy versus bad guy. In 2016, a group of women in Atlanta ran into Katt and asked for a picture after his show. According to the women, Katt quickly became irritated and verbally abusive. I said Kevin Hart funnier anyway, and that lit a fire under him. The next thing I know, he's charging at me. He actually hit me right here in my left temple and tackled me to the ground. We were tussling, I get kicked, and I got pulled. During that same show, Katt went on a rant about Kevin Hart. According to the Philadelphia Inquirer, Katt said even if the nigga's a puppet, it's not his fault. Don't be mad at Kermit the Frog, be mad at Jim Henson. Don't say Donald Duck when you really mean Walt Disney. I don't care nothing about what happens to Kevin. I wish him the best. I just know that somebody's hand is stuck up that baby. Understand? Oh, we're at a puppet show, boo-boo? Please believe me, you're looking at the only thing that ain't. That same weekend, Kevin seemed to have responded to Katt's comments with a humble brag. He posted a picture of himself on Instagram alongside Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock. Me and Dave Chappelle with our brother Chris Rock tonight at the Oscars. True professionals understand the importance of sticking together and supporting one another. It's about helping one another, not trying to tear each other down. The insecure ones will never understand that support and encouragement. That same month, Katt didn't appear to be done. Katt would release a video challenging Kevin to either a rap cypher, comedy battle, boxing, or basketball for $5 million.
On that stage, we can put whatever you want. A full court basketball court, a boxing ring, 2 microphones for a rap cypher, or you can get your ass dusted in comedy on that stage. But it's $1 million up for each one. That's $5 million, Mr. 28 million in Forbes.
Katt was going to be in Kevin's hometown of Philadelphia for a show and was ready to settle the score. A few days later, Katt would be a guest on V103 in Atlanta and would go on to apologize to Kevin for the challenge. Katt said that he made a mistake, but didn't make a total mistake. He meant to cut the snake, but he meant to cut the head of the snake. That year, Katt wouldn't have any new credits, while Hart, on the other hand, would release his special, What Now?, along with several other films, and also starring in BET's Real Husbands of Hollywood. Years would go by, and the rivalry would get quiet as Kevin continued his run in Hollywood. Then, in 2018, Katt appeared on V103 again in Atlanta to support his comedy comrade, Red Grant. In the interview, Katt would criticize Kevin Hart, Tiffany Haddish, Lil Rel, Gerard Carmichael, and Hannibal Buress. Katt would imply that Kevin was not a true leading man and said he was picked. He would then go on to speak about owning his own comedy specials, which makes us point out the two also share different styles in how they conduct themselves in business. Kevin Hart has built a reputation for himself as a real deal businessman, closing deals and identifying opportunities to profit. Meanwhile, Katt appears to move a bit different to his own accord, by not always expecting a return or profit from his contribution. In response to Katt's comments, Hart would appear on The Breakfast Club to directly address Katt. My frustration with Katt Williams comes from, you keep pointing at Hollywood and the white man, this and this. When do you take responsibility for your actions? You had the shot, you were the guy, you didn't show up to work, you effed up promo shoots, you became a risk to the studio, which is why the studio stopped effing with you. Of course, Katt heard the message and went on Instagram Live to indirectly respond back to Kevin. I don't mind making $1 million a month and keeping my soul. While using that same Instagram account, Katt would later share a meme that took a direct jab at Hart for kissing The Rock in 2016 Central Intelligence. He would also let Hart know that they both can handle the matter physically. I was just in the gym and I'm headed to Mayweather's. I'ma knock your motherfucking mouth sideways, boy. I ain't Stephen A. Smith. I'm really out in these motherfucking streets, my nigga. Since 2018, Katt has gone on to win an Emmy for his role in Atlanta, released a Netflix special, appeared on Blackish in 2019, and most recently Last OG in 2020. As far as Hart, he has continued to build out his resume with films like Jumanji, The Secret Life of Pets, and a comedy special with Netflix in 2019. This rivalry appears to have happened because of what we've seen in the past. Two different styles of comedy, an industry saying there only can be one, and the natural buildup of competition, which is why Kevin Hart versus Katt Williams may never be over.